everybody. Welcome to Stitch with Rick. We are doing a Christmas in July. Because you know what? We need to get a head start on our Christmas decorations. So why not start with the Scandinavian star? So I am kind of remaking this video. I made it a couple years back, but I've got a little better cameras now. So we're going to try using these new cameras to get a better footage of it. Okay, so we're going to start by making our Scandinavian Christmas star. And what we will need are, we have our star, some tacky glue. I use a little bit of tacky glue. We have our tweezers, which come in very handy. You don't have to have these, but it's a lot easier if you do. And then we have our needle with some floss that will be used for the hanger of the ornament. All right, so let's get started with what we need. Okay, what we're going to need is 4 pieces of material. Christmas colors, prints, whichever you want to use. Okay, so I'm using the red snowflakes and the green with a little bit of glitter in it. Okay, to start, we need 4 strips of 4 inches by 16 inches long. Okay, I have 2 of the reds and 2 of the greens, making 4. Okay, so when we start with that, we're going to have to fold this and press this. So we're going to switch down to our pressing. Okay, so we're going to take our fabric and we are going to fold it in half and press it. Okay, so just right in half, right down the middle. What we're doing is we're making a fold line for the other 2 folds. Okay, once we have that, we open it up, and now we're going to fold it in, the one edge in. Give it a little press. Okay, so that makes half of it. Okay, and turn it around, and we're going to take this edge and fold it into the middle also. Okay, and press it. Okay, so we're in the middle, leaving a little bit of gap. I don't know if you can see that little gap between it because we're going to fold it together. Just a little tiny gap. Okay. All right, so now I've got that folded. We did the 2 folds in. Now we're going to take and we're going to fold it over one more time and give it a good press. Now we've got 4 even pieces to start our star. Okay, so we have the 2 red and the 2 green. Okay, so the key to this is the folding. The start is the most confusing part, but we'll try to go through it slow and get it across to everybody. Okay, so we're going to take our 4. We're going to start with our red. Okay, so what we're going to fold is we're going to leave 2 inches, and you can see here I'm using my cutting mat for 1 inches and 2 inches, the blocks. So I'm going to leave that there. I think we'll switch cameras, get a better view. Okay, so now we've got 2 inches left extra here. Get that out of the way. Fold this one again too, leaving 2 inches again from 2 inches right there. Little finger press it. Same thing with the green. You'll leave 2 inches on the bottom there. Finger press it. And the last green. You'll leave 2 inches down there. Okay, so now you can see we have our 2 greens and our 2 reds folded. We have a short end and a long end. Short end and a long end. Now, we're going to lay these opposite. So if we're going to put the folded edge up here and the open edge here, okay, now we're going to take the other one and do the opposite. closed edge down the bottom, open edge on top. So we have open edge, closed edge, open edge, closed edge. Now we're going to take our green and we are going to put our green right in there. So I opened it up. I put the green right on the fold, pulled it back down. Okay? That's one. Now this other one, we have the open edges and we have a folded edge over here. Okay? We're just going to slide that right in that slot. Okay? So that's going in between, let me see if you can see, in between the two pieces of the green. Okay? And then pull it up a little bit. Okay? So now we have a somewhat of a little box. Okay? Now, since we had our open folded edge here and our open edge over here, we're going to take the open edge of our next folded one and we're going to do the opposite. So now I'm going to open up the green, bring it in, and then fold it back over to encase the red. Okay, so we have red and green. Now we have the closed edge down here. So you want to take your green and you want to slide it right through that closed edge. So there's 1 and 2. Okay? Now we're going to straighten this up a little bit. Okay, we're going to pull it a little bit. I'm going to push this one up. We're going to pull these over to the side. Pull that over to the side. A little tap, but make sure you leave your 2 inches. Don't pull it. I just pulled that a little bit. So leave your 2 inches. And get that in there. And here we have 2 inches. Okay. All right, so now you've got a nice little compact little square here. Okay, see that square? Now you still have shorter, 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 then longer, 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 longer. But now that we've got our base done, we're going to take and, so it's laying down flat. Okay, we're just going to take that furthest one out, and we're just going to flip it over and lay it down. That's it. Okay, and I'll redo that again this way. So this is where we have it started. Okay, it's laying right there. We have our red up top here. We're just going to grab this on the sides and turn it over. Okay, now make sure we're still a little taut in there. Okay, now we're going to start going clockwise by taking your long piece, okay, and fold it over the red. So over once, so that was that one. Now we're going to move to the next one down below. Go over, it's 2. Then we're going to go to the next one, the third one. Okay. So we have 3 done. Okay. Now, our fourth one, this long one right here, that's going to be our locking leg. Okay. So we're going to take that one, and we're going to come down to this green one right here, the bottom green one. You can see, let me see if I can get in closer here. Okay, so your bottom green one right there, it's going to come, we're going to go inside, underneath there. So I'm going to take my tweezers, okay, and I'm going to put my tweezers right under that green one, all the way through, and I'm going to grab the red one. I grab the red one over here. And now we're just going to gently pull that one through. Okay? You can use your tweezers to kind of zhuzh it around a little bit. So now we have them all. My green one's a little messed up here. Okay. And we should be just about the same size over here and here, okay? So let's look at that from above. So we're pretty close here. I'm okay with that because we're going to snip some off the extra. Okay, so we just did the locking leg. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a part that does not have anything to slide under here. Okay, this you can slide under, but this you can't. We have to make our points. Okay, we got to make our red points. Okay, in order to do that, you want to take your red piece and flip it over. See how that made a point right there? Okay, now you're going to take your finger, give it a little press. Okay, now we're going to grab that point and we're going to flip it over one more time. Okay, now you see our point here. Okay, now what I want you to do is take this outside leg from that point and fold it down to make a point also. Okay, let's see if I can go over here. All right, so we had the point from before, and now we're just going to hold down that. We're going to take our little leg here and fold it down next to the squares. Okay? All right, now what we're going to do is we are going to take and flip that triangle, try to get my fingers out of the way, over onto the other triangle. Okay? So now you see you have it going down the back side of the squares. Now we want to lock that in. And see, now we have the green that we can use to lock in. Okay? Let me see. All right. So I'm going to take my tweezers again. I'm going to stick it underneath the green. And I'm going to grab that red. Pull the red in. Now you can see this lifted up a little bit. See that? That's okay. We just pull that back down by pulling the leg there. Okay, so now we've made our first point. Okay, now that we have our point out there, you see this extra material, the red we have. We're going to go ahead and get rid of that. And we're going to use our scissors, which are down on the other end of the table. So hold on one second. Get my little scissors. Okay. So you see that extra that we have is that tail right there. Red on the red. So I'm going to give this a little tug, and this point will raise up a little bit. Okay? That way I'm taking some slack out, because now I'm going to cut very carefully, cutting the red. Don't cut the green. So now I've cut it, and I got a little bit hanging out there. So now I'm just going to pull that back in a little bit so it disappears. Okay, now I'm going to take my glue, and you don't need a lot of glue. I just put a little, tack it in there. Okay, so that will stay and hold that. Okay, now we're going to continue with the rest of them. Okay, now the way you can tell if you're doing it right or not, if I wanted to start this one here, there's nothing to tuck into, so that's good. So I'm going to do the fold over. Let's see if I can do this. So I'm going to fold it over to make a point here. Okay? So now we have two opposite points. Then we're going to flip it over again. So our point is on the side there. Okay? And you can see this is the one we're going to tuck under, the green one. Okay? So now we're going to take this red and make our secondary point. Right there. Okay, so now we have 2 points. And just like we did before, you have this one here. We are going to flip this over. And now we're going to have to do the same thing. We're going to have to tuck this. And when we tuck it under, we're going to use our tweezers. Go in there, grab it, pull it on back in. Okay? Get nice and snug. Fix our little green there. Okay? So now you have 2 points. Again, we're going to tug on this little tail to pull that point up a little, this point up a little bit, so I can snip this off. Alright, so I'm going to snip this off here. Okay, so got that there. And we are going to put a little glue in there. So now we have 2 points done. Okay? Now we're going to move over to the green one. And you don't want to start here, because this is the green one that you can tuck stuff under. You don't want to do that. Alright? So what you want to do is you want to flip it over. Now, we're going to make our point going out. So we point out to the edge. Once we turn that over, we're going to flip it. Okay? And the same thing again, we're going to make that point. Okay, so now you see we've got our point, double point. Okay? Now we know we're going to tuck in here, the red. There's a little spot to tuck it in. So we have to flip this over on top of itself. We have a point. Okay? And again, take our trusty tweezers, put it in the red, grab a hold of the green, and just pull that on through. Okay, use your tweezers to zhuzh up a little bit there. Pull, and again, I have a little extra here, but I can still pull this to tighten it. Okay? So now we have the green point. Now we have this extra tail again. Want to cut that off. So pull it a little bit, make that note, that point raise up a little bit. Have my extra material. My lovely little scissors. Trim. Pull it back in a little bit so the green material goes back under the red. Put a little glue. Good. Okay. So that's 3 of them. Now here again, we don't have anything to tuck here. So we're on the right side, so we're going to flip this over and make our point. Okay. Got our point made. We're going to flip our star over. See, now we have to make this point on this side. So we make that point right there. Okay. Now we've got our point, but it needs to be tucked into this red. So all we do is we take this one, fold it over, get it back out of the way, take my tweezers, go back under, grab some of the green, and gently pull it through. Zhuzh it a little bit. Give this a little pull. You make this little point rise up a little bit. Now we're going to trim. Okay, after we trimmed, we're gonna glue. Okay, so you would just keep on going and doing that. So we turn, make a point, make another point, flip it over. Okay, now we got that point there. And again, we're going to get rid of this tail, so we're going to put our fabric back. Okay, so we've moved it out of the way. It's going to go under this green. So I'm going to take my tweezers and grab the red and pull it back on through. Okay. Tighten that down a little bit. Okay. And then the glue. Hold it. And then you would just do the remainder 3. Okay? So after you do the 3 other ones, you'll end up with your star. Okay? And it's done. Now you're totally done now. All right? So the only thing you got left to do is decide which point you want to hang it from. You can do, whoops. You can either hang it from a point, like so, or hang it from the middle, like so. I'll do a close-up of that. Okay, so you can either hang it from a point, like that, or you can hang it from the middle. I kind of like to hang it from a point. So I'm just going to take my needle and thread. I use a little bit of embroidery floss. Poke it through. And that'll be my hanger. Okay? And you cut the string to whatever size that you would really want for your hanging purposes. So that's it. That's our Scandinavian star. Hopefully this video is better. I'll look back at it and see. If I don't like it, I won't post it. If I do like it, I will post it. But always, please remember to subscribe, and that way I get more subscribers. I can get more advice of what to do, more things you want to see me do, and all that. So just give me a thumbs up and click subscribe. We'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.